I found a second phone in my husband's car, and for about 5 seconds, I convinced myself it was nothing. 5 seconds. Because after that, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The phone wasn't dead, it wasn't old, and it definitely wasn't forgotten by accident. I sat there staring at it, feeling this strange pressure building in my chest. Because suddenly I wasn't asking, "Whose phone is this?" I was asking, "Why is it hidden?" Part 1. Before you start thinking I was already suspicious, let me explain something. My husband had never given me a reason to doubt him, never. He wasn't secretive with his phone. He wasn't acting distant. There weren't late-night excuses or weird behavior. Everything felt completely normal. Our life had become predictable in the best way possible. Morning coffee together, quick goodbye before work, random texts during the day, dinner at night, nothing unusual, nothing strange, which is exactly why what happened next felt so disturbing. That afternoon, my car was in the shop, so I borrowed his car to run a few errands. Nothing important, just groceries, a few household things, and then I planned to come right back home. I remember turning on the radio and driving like it was just another ordinary day. No strange feeling, no warning, nothing. Then I pulled into a parking lot and reached over to grab my purse from the passenger seat. But as I lifted it, the strap slipped out of my hand. Everything fell. My wallet, my keys, lipstick, receipts, all over the floor. I sighed and leaned down to pick everything up. And that's when I saw something near the edge under the passenger seat. At first, I could only see the corner of it. Black, small. I thought maybe it was a power bank or some random gadget. But then I pulled it out. And my entire body froze because it was a phone. Part 2. I stared at it for a second, confused. I remember blinking a few times because my brain was trying to catch up. A phone? Why was there a phone under the seat? My first thought was actually very normal. I figured maybe it was his old phone. People keep old phones all the time, right? Maybe he forgot it was there. Maybe he tossed it in the car weeks ago. Maybe there was some completely boring explanation. So I looked at it again, and that's when something felt wrong. Because I had never seen this phone before. Not once. Not on the kitchen counter. Not beside the bed. Not charging in the living room. Never. And after years together, you notice little things. You notice what phone your partner uses. You notice their case, their wallpaper, the tiny scratches on the corners. You notice those things without even trying. But this was completely unfamiliar. I could actually feel my heartbeat getting faster. Not because I thought something terrible had happened, but because questions were suddenly appearing faster than answers. I turned the phone over in my hand. No case, no stickers, nothing. Just a plain black phone. And then, the screen lit up. The screen lit up. I swear my heart almost stopped. I wasn't even touching anything. I just sat there staring at it while the notification slowly appeared across the screen. One message. Just one. Are we still meeting tonight? That's all it said. No name, no photo, no details. Just those 4 words. For a second, I simply stared, because my brain immediately started trying to connect pieces that didn't even exist yet. Meeting tonight? Meeting who? Why was there no contact name? Why was the phone hidden under the seat? I suddenly became aware of how quiet everything around me was. Cars were driving by. People were walking in and out of stores. But inside that car, it felt like everything had gone completely silent. My thoughts were moving faster and faster. Maybe there was a normal explanation. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe it belonged to a coworker. Maybe somebody forgot it. I kept repeating maybe over and over in my head because I didn't want my mind going somewhere worse. But then another thought hit me. If someone accidentally forgot a phone, why was it pushed so far under the seat? I looked at the phone again, then looked around the car, then back at the phone. And suddenly I realized I was nervous to touch it. Not because I thought the phone itself was scary, but because I was afraid of what I might find. Because sometimes you spend your whole life believing everything is normal, until one tiny thing appears and suddenly nothing feels normal anymore. I sat there for almost 10 minutes. 10 whole minutes, just staring at this phone sitting in my hand. Part of me wanted answers immediately. Part of me wanted to throw the phone back under the seat and pretend I had never seen it. Because once you open a door, you can't pretend it was closed. I kept thinking about my husband, about this morning, about him smiling before leaving, about our normal conversations, about everything. Was I really about to let one hidden phone destroy all of that? Or was I about to ignore something important? I didn't know. My hands actually felt cold. Then I looked down one more time, and I noticed something I somehow missed before. The phone wasn't locked, the screen was open, I froze. I stared at it. Then slowly, very slowly, I moved my thumb across the screen. I told myself I was only checking for a name. Just a name, that's it, nothing else. But then I saw something that made my entire body go numb, and at that moment, I realized this wasn't someone else's phone, because right there at the top of the screen was my husband's picture. And suddenly, I understood something terrifying. I hadn't found a lost phone. I had found a secret, so now I need to ask you, what would you do next? Because if you thought finding the phone was shocking, you have no idea what happened after I brought it home.